Well, hello there, All Saints. My name is Casey, and I'm the Director of Children's Programming here at the church. And that still sounds a little bit weird coming out of my mouth. For those of you that don't know, I began this role in July of 2025. My family and I started coming to All Saints just about 3 years ago. I know we've carved 3 pumpkins at the church, which is how I keep track of time. And my wife, Haley, we also have 4 kiddos, Bo, Trip, Cooper, and Cody, and 1 daughter, Cody, ages 3 to 8. And for most of my life, I was in insurance and risk management. Why am I here at All Saints? Well, one, because All Saints is such a gracious place that my family fell in love with. Particularly with 4 kids, the children's programming, the children's ministry. And I spent most of my life in volunteer roles, working with kids, coaching basketball, teaching school, in volunteer roles. And so the problem was I got married and had 4 kids, and you don't have a lot of time to volunteer. And that's my passion. And just by the grace of God, an opportunity opened up where now I can invest my full-time professional energy and career into what I love, which is figuring out how to encourage kids, teach them about the Lord, grow them in the faith. And so I'm obviously doing all this for the first time, and I'm a dreamer. And I'm going to share a few of my dreams, but before I do, I need to let you know that I'm not the only one responsible for the program. We've got a great team. Robin Turner, who many of you know because she was our family ministry director for just about 3 years before taking a break to focus on just being a mom to her 3 kiddos, has returned in a part-time role as a catechist. What does that mean? Well, partly it just means she's helping shape this dreamer's dreams into reality with all of her experience, all of her knowledge. Robin's got a doctorate. She's edited and written books. She's the one that actually developed the liturgy that goes around the young children in worship curriculum that my family fell in love with and that is used every week in our Little Saints classrooms. We also have Ross Early, who does our 4th and 5th grade class, our pastoral resident, who you've heard about a few weeks ago, or heard from, and then Meredith Dragan, who leads our Little Saints team. And so getting into the dreams about where we're headed, my dreams are that our kids will develop a very full understanding of who God is, that their faith development, that seed that gets planted in Little Saints, will continue to grow all the way through high school, so that they leave here with a really faithful view of who God is. It's worthy of His glory and worthy of their lives, rolling everything over onto Him. I also dream that they would deepen their relationships, starting in Little Saints, all the way through I guess a shared commitment or a shared sense of purpose and ministry and mission. And then I would say the reality of all of that, we get 30 minutes every week with our kids at church, once a week. So that amounts to about 26 hours a year, if you come every single Sunday, which we don't even have programming necessarily every single Sunday. So that's a very short amount of time. Another reality is that our kids are a lot like us. They have 1 to 2 close friends that they interact with every week, and that little circle is pretty tight. It doesn't often open up, and it sometimes never interacts with any of the other kids. One last reality might be that our kids get, especially at our church, a lot of them get different messages from a bunch of different places about what it means to be a Christian. The terminology is often difficult to define or undefined, sometimes incorrectly defined. And all these messages are easy to get jumbled up. It is hard to develop a concrete concept of what it means to be a Christian, and sometimes that turns them off to the lesson that we want to present to them. So those are the realities. What do they mean for our ministry? Well, the time piece means that most of the spiritual formation is going to occur in places outside of these walls. The seeds that we plant, we hope that we plant them well. We want to nurture them well. We want to take care of those. But really it's going to be in your household that the faith development works. That means we've got to do a good job of connecting what we're doing here at the church with you guys. And that's something that I want to commit to as soon as possible, that we can do a better job of sharing what we're talking about, especially as the kids get older, so that they hopefully will create opportunities for continued discussion at home, for everybody to be in this work together. Now that raises another reality. If you're a parent, you've got 2 hours of work for every hour of time you've got. I've got probably 100 resources that come at me as a parent, and maybe one of them looks like it might have an impact. And even that one, I don't know that I'll even ever get to try and implement, because it'll stay in my mind for a few weeks before I forget about it, or life just, talk about the parable of the seeds, just gets choked out maybe with all of the stuff that I've got going on. So our commitment to our parents is we want to do good with our communication, but we want it to be accessible, and we want it to be valuable, timely. Those are really hard things to do, but that's our commitment, to continue to work on that and make it as smooth and easy, as good as it can be for our parents. Of course, there's lots of other things that are required to make this work. Curriculum, the communication, safety is another big issue that we're working on as we move to 4 services, and there will be more communication about what that's going to look like, and how we're going to, the changes we're going to make, the things that we're going to incorporate to make sure that our kids remain safe as we spread out and as our numbers grow in the church. The foundation that all this rests on is relationships. If we don't have volunteers, and if we don't have, I don't even like the word volunteers, if we don't have disciple makers that love kids, where they feel the love, and you know their names, and they know your names, then they're not going to open up for the lessons. And those little circles of friends probably aren't going to ever open up to other circles of friends, or to new people as they come in. It takes great leaders, great volunteers, and by great, I just mean people that want to be here and want to love kids. It takes that in order to change a culture, in order to make those dreams a reality. So we have 2 ways that you can get involved primarily. One is as a host of a classroom 3 times a week. We have a few hosts already. We could not do our ministry without them. They love kids. They show up on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th Sundays of each month to at least host a class. Sometimes they get pulled into teaching a class, and we'll talk about why later, but the ideal position there, just to avoid burnout and to make sure that they aren't overworked with everything else going on, is that they get to come and host a class and enjoy getting to foster the relationships. So know which kids are outside of circles, help bring kids into the circles, engage with the kids, know their names, know what's going on in their lives, and then have a monthly volunteer, or maybe even an every month volunteer that is a parent possibly, or it really could be anybody, that comes in and teaches the lesson, that takes that off their shoulders. And so that's our second group of volunteers, is anybody that wants to, and ideally, I'll throw in, I would love to have a Dad's Monday. This is way big dream, way outside the box. But if there was a class of 12 kids, I would love for 12 dads to have one Sunday a month. That's just serving once a year, where they come in and do the lesson. That gives them a chance to, at least, you have to figure out what we're doing, how we're doing. You get to see how the classroom works. You get to provide input too, which I'm eager to get from all of you as parents, things that are missing, things you would like to see, ways that we could better encourage your kids, ways that we could better equip you. But I would love for dads to consider that. There is no limit to how many times you can serve. I want to be very careful not to burn anybody out. One of the great things about All Saints is it is typically as chaos-free as a church can be, and we want to keep it that way when it comes to our volunteers. We want it to be about relationships, and we don't want to stretch people thin. But we need a large group of volunteers to do that, so that we're not just meeting, the bare minimum of folks in order to keep things moving forward. In order for it to thrive, we're going to need more people to show up. And I would love for a lot of our younger folks, people without children, who have a little more flexibility, to consider being a host in one of our classrooms. That means coming 3 times a week. Find some friends, do it together, enjoy, make it a team deal. Young couples, man, you guys have so much to give our kids, and I would love to bring you on board. And then anybody else, we just need a big bullpen of people that we can call on, so that the same people aren't called on every week, whether that's in Little Saints, Kid Saints, 0 or 2, really age 2 all the way up through 6th grade. And so you're going to see some more communications about that. Please take those seriously, pray about them, and we would love to continue to connect families, connect kids, and be faithful to what God has given us here at All Saints. And so it's an honor and a privilege, and can't wait to do it a second time.